There are some pretty taboo topics out there, topics that no one is willing to touch. And many times it takes a brave and courageous young person in order to touch these topics and talk about them. For example, like a speaker who decided to pick this topic for his public speaking class because he thought it would be very good for an informative speech. So today, I'm going to be talking about the issue of suicide. Now, I know this is a very hard topic for some of you. For me personally, I have experienced some suicide stuff, so it's pretty difficult. But anyways, I'm going to ask you guys this question, and by raise of hands, please show me who all has experienced some form of suicide, whether that be experiencing someone's death or having thoughts yourself. It's completely honest. Okay, that doesn't surprise me, because the Center for Disease Control, or CDC, states that suicide is the second leading cause of death for teens and young adults. In fact, suicide is so common that there's more deaths in teens and young adults from suicide than there is from cancer, heart disease, AIDS, birth defects, strokes, pneumonia, influenza, and chronic lung disease combined. That's pretty scary, folks. Oh, and here's a chart down here that can kind of show you what's up. The green is suicide. Okay. Anyways, so now let's move on to what the causes of suicide are. Oh, sorry, we're going to be covering the causes of suicide, the effects of suicide, how it affects the community, and also how to prevent it. So now let's go to the causes. So, suicide, what is suicide? Suicide, as defined by MedalinePlus.gov, is a death caused by a self-directed injurious behavior with an intent to die as a result of the behavior. And the general causes, there's many causes, but the general causes are depression, traumatizing events, and addictions. These events can cause a spiral of emotions and can trigger suicidal thoughts within a person. Okay, so now that we talked about the causes, let's discuss how it affects the community. It affects much more than many people realize. Statistics taken by NIMH, a federal agency for mental health, found that medical and work costs of suicide is at a staggering $50.8 billion a year. Now, the money cost is tremendous, but the effects and the emotional impact it has on the community is far greater. Suicide, it causes a rippling effect in the community, a rippling effect of grief and depression. And oftentimes, people cannot recover from this trauma that it's caused. It's permanent. Here's a picture of some people mourning the death of a loved one. So now that we've talked about the effects it has on the community, let's learn how to prevent suicide so that we can protect our loved ones from this terrible tragedies. But in the end, one needs more courage than to kill himself. This is a quote by a famous Algerian philosopher named Albert Camus. And this quote is very true, because those who struggle with suicidal thoughts often lose hope. They lose the courage to face their circumstances in life because they lose their hope. So, in order to prevent suicide, if you know someone who has suicidal thoughts, the best way to help them is to encourage them, to give them hope, to remind them that they are not alone, so that they can have the courage to continue on in life. But that doesn't always work, because life is terrible oftentimes, folks. So if all else fails, then you need to contact an emergency room or call 911. Because it's not tattling, you're not betraying someone's trust, you're caring for someone else's life. So it's very important. Thank you. So now let's review what we learned today. Number one, suicide is mainly caused by depression, traumatizing events, and addictions. And it's not fun at all. Two, we discovered that suicide affects the community and much more than we ever realized. And 3, we discovered that to prevent suicide, we need to remind people that they have hope in life and that they have a purpose. And if all else fails, we do need to call an emergency, or we need to call 911 to save their life. Thank you, everyone. Here's my source. And, you know, these taboo topics, they're pretty difficult to discuss, but we're all human, so we should learn what these taboo topics are about, right? Thank you.